We're just gonna listen to some music by our son Jay while we await people to come on in for our. Is this Sunday? It's one of those days, guys, for our Sunday Night Live. We didn't make it live yesterday. Weather was not permitting. There was winds. There was it was a complete fail. So here we are tonight, and hopefully we can make it up to you by having a really good show. We're gonna talk about some Diddy. We're gonna talk about some d4vd, also known as David. We're gonna touch into the case that I had mentioned in an earlier live, where a superintendent of schools from Des Moines, Iowa, was picked up by ICE and taken away, and there was this big hullabaloo, opinions on both sides of the aisle about this. And at the time, I wasn't too happy about ICE, so I didn't really dive into it. But then I started thinking about it more and decided to dive into what was going on in this. And I have a lot to say about it, actually. And it's not even really going to be about ICE. It's going to be about this guy and how he got to the position that he was in and why. So we'll talk about that, plus breaking news out of Texas, where unfortunately 4 kids were bam, and 2 survived, 2 did not, and you will be shocked to learn who did it.
Whoa.
So,
No more.
no more.
There we go.
Okay. Wait, let him play. I gotta cough for a second. And I'm trying these Hall's cough drops. I want to see if this helps.
Smash you that likey like button, everybody. Get a couple people there.
And for those who don't know, this is Another Day in the Car. We live in our RV. It's me, I'm Julez. It's Jack, my husband, and Jay, our son, who is also a musician.
We talk about true crime on this channel. Hi Karen, hi Rainbow, welcome.
And that's that for the music interlude.
Hello,
we have enough
everybody
people
else.
in here to start
We
chatting.
can start now.
And I'm just gonna go in the direction of my notes instead of any, what I otherwise announced as my stories. So my first notes are on the David case, and
Hey,
we
Dark
just got
Horse.
into the fact that David. Let me
Just
take
getting
off my
started.
glasses so I can read.
Just getting started.
Yeah, I use my glasses to see, and I don't need them to read. Jack, on the other hand.
Oh, I need mine to see the comments.
Anyway, David's song "Romantic Homicide" has now leapt to number 38 on the Billboard charts.
No, Karen.
Again, after it was like it was like off in a bad way, off the charts. But since this whole case broke, where his underage girlfriend Celeste was found in the front trunk of his Tesla at a impound lot in LA.
Later on, you should mention the new Megadeth single.
Suddenly, he is now number 38 on the charts. The song originally went viral in 2018 on TikTok, and it's called "Romantic Homicide." And that is pertinent to this case because in that song, in the music video for it, someone is placed in the trunk of a car, and it's just kind of leads into the different rabbit hole categories that you could go down into what happened in this case. Like, is David being set up? Is this something that was done in order to maybe bring him more popularity, his songs more relevance? Because that's what it's doing. It's making him go up in the charts. Although it did cause his concert series to get shut down. So in the long run, is this going to be good or bad for David if he wasn't involved? That remains to be seen. And so, what has been announced by, what was it, LA Magazine? Yeah. LA Magazine states that David has hired Blair Burke, who is a defense attorney to the stars, celebrities. Some of her famous clients include Harvey Weinstein, Bruno Mars, CeeLo Green, Britney Spears, and Lindsay Lohan. So, he's not messing around. He pulled out the big guns on this. And so far, there has been no statement released from David's camp. And then watching different interviews from different attorneys about this development in the case, they're all stating that this is good strategy on the part of any potential defense for David, is to remain silent and not bring forth a story until he's named as a person of interest, or named at all in affiliation with this. Because right now law enforcement isn't naming anyone as any sort of suspect or anything. They're waiting on the medical examiner's report in order to get a is it called mode or means or whatever of death. They're waiting on that because right now it's deferred.
It's not been released.
And so we do not know yet whether it is a homicide or if it's a death by misadventure, an overdose, a taking of their own life.
They've released the body.
Yeah. They've released the body. That means they've taken all the samples. They've gotten all the other evidence they want, and they have all of that in the file. And they're not going to release that until they're not going to release anything else until her they're not going to release any more information. I'm sorry, I read the comments and I was about to answer that and then decided I needed to finish my thought first, which is that they're not going to release the things that they already know in the autopsy, other than the fact, because there was so much controversy and everything, they released the fact that she was not pregnant and never had been. But the rest of it isn't going to be released until they have the other information.
Remember they said she ended up pregnant for 1 year.
For at least a year, yeah.
I don't know why they threw that little tidbit in there.
Well, I don't know if that indicates that there could have been one prior, or if they're or if they were using that to say that she had not given birth, because there was a lot of rumors that she had given birth, and if she's not pregnant and hadn't been for a year, that means she hadn't given birth, and So anyway, what happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez's funeral? I didn't see anyone figure out if it happened somewhere today. Mystifying, maybe private and unpublished. Yeah, it seems to have been private and unpublished, because I too could not find anything about it. And yeah, I'm popping these Halls things. Sorry.
That's not, it's not going to help on the mic. You're
Sorry.
blowing it out.
I'm blowing out the microphone with my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just great. But
Alrighty.
Please bear with me. Please hang in there. I see that I lost a lot of people because I started coughing, and now I only have 9. Ooh! Oh, well, I'm going to try not to look at the numbers and stuff and just keep going with what we got here, right? And anyway, so then I took notes to say that all the defense attorneys that I've seen interviewed on this, and what possible strategy would be going on, is that it would be a really good idea to bring on an attorney right now at this point, even though he's not charged with anything, and he may not even be expecting me to be charged with anything, but he needs to control the narrative. He needs to get everything pulled together so that his career does not go in the toilet.
I see our moderators have been removing a bunch of trolls. Maybe that's why your view count.
Troll hunters.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are awesome, you troll hunters. It is, I'll talk a little bit more about the trolls later on because I really appreciate the troll hunters, and I did get a chance to see some of the comments that have been made, and I am just so proud of my troll hunters. Anyway, so this attorney that David has acquired will be controlling the narrative and will be obviously doing damage control, spin control, because even if David isn't involved at all in the death of Celeste, and even if he's not involved in the moving of Celeste's deceased body into his own Tesla, even if none of that had anything to do with him, and even if he wasn't even on the premises or maybe not even in the state when it happened, the problem is David was having a relationship with a 13-year-old child. When she was 13 and 14 years old, he was having a physical relationship with her, and it's possible that he was having an online relationship with her that may have that may have climbed into the realm of an adult relationship when she was as young as 11. So for that, he's definitely going to need a defense attorney, and then also through all of this we get to there are conspiracies. There are a lot of players in this, and there's going to be even more players, and there's so many different things that could be going on here, like it would range from Celeste taking her own life, or Celeste accidentally ODing, but then someone would have found her, right? Because she can't become deceased and then move herself into the Tesla.
So that person needs to.
So that person's persons is going to need to be questioned, brought in, and there'll be charges related to that. But if it wasn't an accident, and also in the case of an accidental overdose, there are probably different charges that could be for supplying the substance that caused the overdose, and maybe there's enhancers for supplying something like this to someone as young as she was. I mean, she's a little girl. That's a child. And so there's all of that. And then there's what would the motive be? If this was not David. See, obviously, if it was David who did this, this thing, if something had occurred, if it was a crime, or if she had accidentally ended up deceased, and if David was the one to put her into the Tesla, that could be grief or anything, or just not wanting to deal with it, or whatever. But it also doesn't really make that much sense. So now I get to be a wacky conspiracy theorist person, because what if someone caused it to happen and put her into the trunk of the Tesla as a means to frame David? What if they wanted to get David into trouble? What if they had very ill intent towards David, and so they set this all up and made it so that her remains would be found in his Tesla, and maybe they moved it out there onto the other street where it hadn't been parked before, because we learned that it was often parked in the street in front of his house, and now it ended up like around the corner from his house, so it's more likely to get reported in its new location. So what if somebody did that because they really wanted that found, and they wanted David to get in trouble for it. But on the other hand, what if somebody was a super fan of David's and seen his work and just decided to do something sick to emulate David, to bring David up there and do something that they felt that David would do, or that was an expansion of David's art.
Yes,
So what if it was
art,
some
yes,
wacky
definitely.
fan? And then there's, what if somebody on his, in his crew, in his inner circle, what if they discovered that Celeste was deceased, and then they decided to plant her remains in, knowing that David wasn't involved, and knowing, that there wasn't any kind of homicide. But what if they decided to then place her into the Tesla in order for this to be a big story that then ends up having his album sales skyrocket, the views on YouTube skyrocket, the popularity, the word of mouth. Everybody knows who David is now.
Everybody knows what
So
d4vd is now.
So there's lots of conspiracies as to what happened and why it happened. And then something else that we're not talking about, or haven't been talking about, is why was this minor child, this junior high girl, why was she in the company of this 20-year-old man? Why was she over there instead of at home? And was she going to school at all? And that goes into all kinds of child neglect and child abuse allegations.
She could have been going
regarding
to school.
the family if she wasn't going to school and all that. So there's a lot to be looked into with that too. Like, who was her guardian at this point in time?
Okay,
Were her parents still her guardians, or had some kind of arrangement been made? Was there basically the sale of a child or something involved in this? So there's a whole lot going on in the case of David, and a whole lot of things that need to be answered. So that's about it for what I've got for David tonight. And I would love to see in the comments what you guys think about this David case, what you think and whether there's any motives and possibilities that haven't crossed my noggin yet. So get my brain spinning. What is going on in that case? And then my very next case is the tough one, the breaking news one. It happened in Angleton, Texas, in Brazoria County yesterday, and it was reported that 4 children had been shot in a vehicle at a Shell station. And police rushed in there and everything, and unfortunately 2 of the kids were deceased at the scene, and 2 were flown by life flight. Yesterday they were in critical condition. Today they've been upgraded to stable.
Nice.
The deceased are a 13-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. It was originally stated that she was 4, but the press officer for the law enforcement, the Brazoria County law enforcement, said that it was on her. It was a math calculation mistake on her part, figuring out how old the child was. And so, deceased are the 13-year-old boy and the 3-year-old girl. Survivors are an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl, who are in stable condition now. And the person that has been arrested is their own mother, 31-year-old Anita Romulos, originally from Georgia. And it turns out she's the one that called 911. She's the one that called in the crime to begin with. And then later on, after she called herself in and called in the crime and everything, she did talk with police, and she ended up being charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of
Careful with this
okay.
copy and stuff.
Okay, she got 2 counts of unaliving and 2 counts of aggravated blank. And for that, she has $5 million bond each for the 2 counts of unaliving, and $2 million bond each for the aggravated blank. And so that's a total of $14 million bond.
Yeah.
And she is still, obviously, still in the lockup there. And at this point in time, they are still investigating. They have not come up with a motive in this case, and they have not located the other parent of these children or parents of these children. They are her kids. She did this. No idea why at this time. She has no prior criminal history. And oh,
Wow, dude.
sorry guys.
Here, cough drop.
Oh, this is bad. So anyway, it was shocking. It's always shocking for a mother to do something quite so brutal
heinous.
and heinous to her own children.
I thought we'd nail that.
I mean, the only time I could remember something so heinous happening is an oldie
there's a
from
couple
Diane
stories.
Downs.
Yeah, Diane.
Diane Downs. She took her, I believe it was 3 kids. She took them for
A ride.
a late night ride in the car, sightseeing and stuff, but you know they can't see anything in the dark. And she took them for a ride in a car, and then next thing you know, she's driving really, really slow to the emergency room to report that her kids have been shot and she's been shot, but her wounds right here on her forearm, you know, easily self-inflicted and non-life-threatening. One of her kids was deceased. The other 2 were in severe critical condition. And those 2 did survive and actually got adopted by one of the lead investigators on the case. And Diane got life in prison. And she claims she's been set up. And
Girl.
I haven't read her book yet, but I did get a copy of her book that she wrote herself about this crime, and I would love to hear what that whack job has to say about herself. But the common agreed upon psychological analysis of her is that she's narcissistic, and she had a fantasy that she wanted to live a life of being a single woman, no kids, no burden with that, and so she took out her own kids, or attempted to. So we'll see whether this mom in Texas has a similar motive or not. Then the next thing on my list, now we're jumping trains.
Thank you for showing up, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Now,
Here, cough drop
yeah.
for my wife. She has a terrible
Oh
cough.
yeah, Susan Smith. Very glad Susan Smith didn't get parole, and I'm glad she recently got denied. Okay, so the next one is Diddy.
Diddy?
And it appears that some of the transcripts from his sentencing have now been made public, and some other users have gone over them and shared what they say. And it appears that at the sentencing, the reason why Diddy got the 4 years was because there were enhancers to what he was convicted of. Because he was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in, what do they call it?
I forget.
Without saying the right word, with the YouTube-friendly word for it, I guess they just say to engage in prosty. Prosty?
Yeah, that's all.
Anyway.
YouTube doesn't like this adult content. Sorry, guys.
So, that's what he was convicted of. And he wouldn't have gotten a 4-year charge. That doesn't carry a 4-year charge. It's if, the 4 years is due to the enhancers. And Diddy tried to say that the enhancers did not count because there are also things that he was acquitted of on the RICO charges and stuff. And then the judge very clearly stated that no, this isn't due to the RICO charges or anything. This enhancer is specifically due to your convictions of the transportation to engage and the fact that it is proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you were an organizer of a group of people that did this. And as the head organizer, you hold this responsibility. And so you've got the enhancer, and that's why you've got the 4 years. But the judge also named some of the people that Diddy had organized for this, leaving it wide open that these people can be criminally charged as well. And included are Christina Gorm, who I guess is kind of like Diddy's right-hand woman, and woohoo, and Garen James, who is the owner, founder, whatever, of Cowboys for Angels, which is, if that sounds kind of familiar to you, you might have watched Gigolos on TV. Anyway, that's who supplied the male entertainment for Diddy's adventures. Anyway, so he is a co-defendant. And then also Bridget Collins, who is an employee of Cowboys, and she's some sort of coordinator, like the receptionist or something. And she had a lengthy discussion with Diddy that I guess was shared in court and everything. And it was related to the fact that Diddy was very dissatisfied with a male worker that he had hired from Cowboys for Angels, and he is very upset because this guy could not perform up to Diddy's standards. And so Diddy was saying that because this guy could not perform properly, that he wasn't going to pay. And so they had a big discussion about that because they valued Diddy's patronage of what they had to offer at this place, and they were trying to offer compensation or figure out what they could do to make it right with Diddy, that this guy couldn't Diddy properly.
Couldn't Diddy right.
And so anyway, that's Bridget Collins. And then another person who they say was a part of the group of people that were assisting because they're being paid for or directed by Diddy to engage in the transportation of people for prosty, was a guy named Fahim Muhammad. And then it turns out, okay, he's Diddy's bodyguard, and we've seen him on camera a bunch during the comings and goings to court and stuff like that, and he like acts as bodyguard to Diddy's family too. And then it turns out that this guy, before he worked for Diddy, he was Michael Jackson's bodyguard, and this guy was actually there the night that Michael Jackson died and testified against that doctor who was eventually convicted in Michael Jackson's death. So anyway, that guy may find himself charged as well, and it's going to be interesting to see if anybody else gets charged in this whole Diddy scheme. Diddy the Diddler. But anyway, the judge said this was clearly an organized thing, and Diddy's clearly an organizer, and this is not due to the RICO charges at all. Those were, he was found not guilty of the RICO charges, but he was clearly the organizer in this whole freak off and different kinds of parties and the transportation for the reason of prosty.
Be sure to @ Jaguar. You gotta put him in my comments section. You gotta add him so you get notice. All right.
Yeah. Jaguar has some legit things to say. I would love to see more of what Jaguar has to say. Let me. Um.
This guy.
Uh.
This guy.
When it comes to Diddy, the fiddler, I listen to Jaguar Wright. Okay.
At him, guys.
Yeah, put at Jaguar, but I'm gonna write that down because I gotta go check that out. Because
What does that say? Someone translate that.
I'm always ready to get more sources for the stories and more stuff to bring you. Stuff with
Mods, if you can't read that, delete it.
Jaguar Wright a girl? And
Anything not in English
Antonio,
can
please
be...
type in English because unfortunately I can't read anything other than, and I know that there's a Google Translate or something, but I don't, it's not handy here on the phone. So
it could be good, it could be bad.
So
Just
we don't
use English on this channel.
We don't know if you're saying something good or bad.
We don't want the YouTube guys to get us because you put something naughty in there.
Yeah. Anyway, the next thing, Jaguar Wright has videos here and there. She's a woman. Okay.
YouTube channel on that one.
And somebody said Google her, so I made note. I will go check that out. I love getting
Thank you, Antonio. More cough drops, my dear wife.
I still got one in my mouth right now, but yeah, I'll have that right here.
Okay.
My hubby's taking care of me. He's trying to nurse me through this, and I am not a very good patient. I'm used to taking care of him and our son and stuff like that. I'm not used to being a sniveling baby about being sick, but yeah, I'm being a sniveling baby about being sick. Oh, jeez.
Easy. I don't have a meter button on here.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna say that Halls doesn't work all that
used
well.
to work.
They're like semi-working. They're making my throat is less scratchy, but I'm still coughing very much.
Yeah, they used to be effective. Maybe they changed their makeup.
And anyway, the next story that I have is the one about that superintendent of schools that was bagged by ICE a few days back. And at the time, I was thinking, that's a waste of money and stuff, and that ICE was being, used unnecessarily and stuff. But once, especially since there was an ICE raid in Colorado Springs a few months back, a nightclub was raided, and there was a whole bunch of arrests, and amongst the detainees were hundreds of U.S. military stationed here who happened to be at the nightclub. And
They weren't doing anything wrong.
oh, leaf mold allergy.
Dude,
Maybe that might be what I got going on.
The leaves are all falling now.
Because they are, and it is. And I've been outside and I've had the windows open and stuff like that because I love the smell of the fall. But yeah, and I know that I'm sensitive to mold because in some of our other
drops for the show. Thanks
because
everybody
in some
for
of our other
stopping in
travels, I've been places that were super moldy, and we actually went snooping around in some super moldy old buildings, and I didn't wear a respirator. Now I know why the Ghost Adventure guys wear respirators when they go into these things. And from now on, I always
Don't be leaving them
will
in the
be
car anymore.
yes, I will be using the respirators instead of leaving them behind. So anyway, Ian Andre Roberts was born December 18th, 1970 in Georgetown, Guyana, and I got the impression from the different stories that I had heard before I mentioned it in this story in a live. They were saying that he was born to immigrants from Guyana and blah, 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 which made me think at the time that he was born on U.S. soil, but he was not. And anyway, so he wasn't a U.S. citizen that got deported or anything, and he's never, applied for or gotten citizenship. Um, he first came to the United States in June of 1994, arriving at JFK, and at that time he was using a non-immigrant visa and saying that he was here for pleasure. And then he returned and was arrested in 1996. At that time, he was arrested for criminal possession of narcotics and intent to sell narcotics and various other things. He had a couple other arrests between 1996 and 1998. Then in 1998, he was arrested for unauthorized use of a vehicle, which is a pretty way of saying auto theft, but he probably knew the person whose vehicle he was using, and he was using it without their permission or whatever, and they wanted their car back, and they didn't press auto theft on him. So anyway, he was arrested for that. But just this whole little line of arrests give me the impression that this guy believes he's above the law. Then in March of 1999, he entered San Francisco on a student visa.
Yes, the superintendent of schools in what city?
Des Moines.
Mm-hmm. Very large district, apparently.
And he left and came back a few times on the student visa. And then in the year 2000, he was employed for a teacher in New York City. And then from 2001 to 2010, he was employed in Baltimore, and beginning as a teacher, then a special ed coordinator, and then making his way up to principal.
Special ed, that's a pretty high position to be having in the school.
Although special ed coordinator, I'm not sure if that's actually... we'll get into this when we go and after I finish the timeline and we get to rant about this.
Yes, do that.
Then in 2010 to 2014, he was a principal at a school in Washington, D.C. Then 2015 to 2018, he was a superintendent in a St. Louis school district in St. Louis, Missouri, big district.
Mm-hmm.
And
huge.
2019 and 2020, he was chief of schools officer in California. And then in 2020, he became the superintendent of schools in a district in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Wow. These are all high-paying jobs.
And then in July of 2023, he was hired by Des Moines School District as superintendent of schools with a salary of $286,000 a year. And when he got that job, he had lied on his application and said that he had gotten his doctoral degree, but he had not. But the board discussed it amongst themselves and decided that while he lied about his education, that they felt that a doctoral degree didn't necessarily it wasn't necessarily a must-have. He did have master's degrees. He did have education towards his doctoral degree. So they decided to forgive the lie and hire him anyway, and at $286,000 a year. And they felt like they were lucky in hiring him because he did such a good job with his advocacy for equity amongst race and gender and all that. But he's really good at talking. He's a really good snake oil salesman. And so he fit what they wanted. They also were trying to improve race relations and stuff like that in their district, and it looked really good on paper. And this guy presents well, and also turns out he was a DEI hire, which I go back
That's
and forth
political,
on that. That's
DEI,
political, so
yeah.
I'm not going to discuss that really. But that did factor into this whole thing. Is they're like, oh well, we'll take that guy,
Why?
even though
DEI.
even though they knew that he lied about his education, he didn't have the education that he said he had. But number one, he lied, and it was proven that he lied. It was easily fact checked. He lied, and they didn't think that being a liar would be a bad character hint on him. And then people that went and dug in further and introduced his, interviewed his past co-workers and employees at all those other jobs, come back with character references that say that they always felt that he was sketchy, that he was a pathological liar, that he lied about little things, even about how many kids he had and stuff like that. That just made just routine things he would lie about, and he would tell grand lies that were
So
easily
he-
disproved.
Yeah, visions of-
Grandeur, yes.
Yes, thank you.
And so that was quite
Cough drop, my wife.
so that was quite the eye opener that
Sip of water.
that
She's been
he
coughing for a couple of days now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and then it got so bad yesterday. Yesterday there was the wind had really kicked up a lot, and there was some rain, but lots of wind, and I'm thinking maybe it might be the mold thing that you're talking about.
Sniper.
And,
Welcome.
and so, in hindsight, I have to say that this guy
You didn't mention.
should have been deported a long time
Do you have
ago.
more content on him?
And when he was arrested, by the way, he had $3,000 cash in his vehicle. He also had the papers telling him that he was supposed to report because he was being deported. And in his house, they found papers going back to 2020 where he was being informed that he was going to be deported. So he knew he was going to be deported even before he went and got this Des Moines job. And apparently, all these jobs that he's had never checked on his immigration status, which is really weird to me. That, yeah, that's what we're using, and they aren't working as well as I was hoping they would. And anyway, and all kinds of drugs charges and stuff like that. He's had previous charges for weapons. He knows that undocumented aliens are not allowed to have or people that have overstayed their visas and stuff like that. He knows they're not allowed to have weapons. And yet, when he was arrested, there was the $3,000 in the car. I mean, he did run from ICE, and then he was arrested. And he had a loaded Glock with one in the chamber in the car with him.
Dude, he was not even supposed to have a gun.
And he wasn't even supposed to have a gun. And then, when they searched his house, like I said, they found all the documentation that he knew that he was supposed to be deported. But they also discovered, like, a hollowed out spot in his sofa in his living room where there was a fully loaded and chambered weapon in the couch, and in various locations of the house were other weapons that were also fully loaded and chambered, including in his bed, under his bed, in his headboard, just everywhere. This guy was, armed to the teeth, even though he knew full well that he wasn't allowed to have these things. and so it's a good thing that he did.
He knew he was gonna be. He knew he was gonna be deported.
Yeah. And so right now he's
He
at
also
a.
went to the Olympics, remember?
Oh yeah. Also, there was a lot of big play on him having gone to the Olympics, but he did go to the Olympics in the year 2000, and I guess he did train in the U.S., but he did go as a representative of Guyana.
You don't know why or how you're here. You can stick around if you like. We're waiting for you, Kayla.
And Kayla, what are you? Is that like an existential thing, or did you just like accidentally come onto our channel? Because anyway, we could explain our channel a little bit to you, and that's that. Whoops,
Easy
sorry.
there.
I have a bad cold. I don't always cough like this, or allergies. I'm not sure if I have a
not
cold or
always.
allergies. And this is another day in the car,
Cough drops.
where we often talk in our car or in our RV about true crime and about things happening in the news. What's current and stuff. We try to steer away from politics, but a lot of times politics is intermingled with crime, and eventually we will be telling true crime stories like around campfire and stuff like that, because everybody likes a scary story around the campfire, and what's better than a scary story that happens to be true? So we're gonna do that kind of stuff too, and yeah, we're kind of a chit chat channel. Man.
Okay.
And anyway, Kayla, if you wanted to stay, and if you had a
You
topic
should hit
you
that
wanted
like
to
button
discuss,
while you're here, Kayla.
you can go ahead and give us a topic, and we'll try to talk about whatever it is that you say.
Give us a topic. We'll bring it tomorrow night.
Michael Wilbur says, "Tell the story of Bloody Bones." Write it down, because I don't know that, but we can find out whether Bloody Bones is a true story, or if Bloody Bones the classic campfire scary story, or what.
Maybe that's from that pasta one.
It might be from creepypasta or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Journey's got the
Yeah,
perfect description. This channel is a true crime, current news, little chat stories, and make friends along the way channel.
No clankers.
Okay, or the mouse with 3 legs. Write that one down too.
Is that
We'll
like
just-
the Cookie Mouse? The mouse with 3 legs.
Oh, the Headless Horseman. That's a classic.
Oh.
I love the Headless. That one used to terrify me so bad when I was a kid. And yes, Happy Halloween. That's one of the things too,
We will
is that
be
especially
bringing
since
Halloween
since this is October now, and Halloween is like our favorite holiday. We will be incorporating scary true stories, and maybe some classic scary stories that maybe aren't true but are things that are classics, because it's fun to be scared.
This is Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We told the story of the guy in the wearing people's skin last night before last.
oh yeah, Ed Gein, and how he's erroneously placed as a serial killer, like on Wikipedia and stuff, except for you have to have 3 confirmed kills to be a serial killer, and he only has 2 confirmed kills, and he has never confessed to killing anybody else, even though his name has been linked with some other things. But he's more of a ghoul. He robbed graves in order to get trophies and to make himself a woman outfit, so that he could dress up like a woman by wearing women's skin. and Dancing Under the Moonlight in his secluded home in Wisconsin.
Plainfield.
Yes. And you know, he actually was the inspiration for several different horror movies and horror movie series, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface.
Oh, that's a scary one.
And a lot of them, and even funny ones too. Like the character, he inspired the character in Joe Dirt, which is also also inspired by another horror movie, which I forgot. But anyway, you know, it puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again. Yeah. And why can't witches get pregnant? It's because their husbands have Halloweenies.
Oh no.
Wow.
I guess that's G-rated enough.
Yeah, it is. And cough drop. And so yeah, we talk about stuff like that, and we do chit chat and discuss things with our chat. Because like now I've told the stuff that we had on our notes for tonight, and hi, first time tuning in, love your vibe, thank you. We love finding people that like to vibe with us, you know, kindred spirits, and now we feed her. Oh, you got grapes. No, unfortunately, what we got is halls, and they're not working as good. So, does anybody know any cough drops that actually like work? Because I guess he said these things used to work when
These used
he
to
was
work.
younger.
A couple of days ago.
And you know, as you can see, I'm like eating them like candy, popping them. Like as soon as one's gone, because like they're working while they're melting in my mouth, but the second it's gone, I cough again.
Yeah, that's how they work. You have to have a continuous supply of the cough drop.
And let's see, I get Sudafed and zinc. I'll try the zinc, but yeah, I'll do the zinc, but I'm gonna try to steer clear of the NyQuil because I like.
You got to have NyQuil. Do you guys have a true crime story? You guys have a true crime you're interested in? Classic, new?
Because I don't know if NyQuil's changed or not or anything, but I remember it was years and years ago, and I was really sick, and I took a shot of NyQuil, and I passed out, and I slept in past my alarm and everything, and I was like, oh, I'm not taking that stuff again, and knocks my butt out.
Yeah.
NyQuil gives me nuts little dreams. Yeah, I don't like stuff that gives me weird dreams either. And I don't know if it was Sudafed or what it was, but I remember there's a over-the-counter like a decongestant allergy thingy, and I think it was a red pill, and I took that thing and it made me feel like my face was plastic and stuff. It was surreal. I didn't like that.
Talk about that story. We haven't been here an hour quite yet.
Which one?
Over there.
Where?
Pig farmer guy.
Oh, Robert Pickton.
You guys want to hear a story about what happened in Canada?
Oh
Okay.
my God. I have researched this guy into the ground.
Wee Willie.
I've read
we'll call
several different things about him. I was going to do one of those Ray William Johnson style videos on it, and
Actually, we did do a Ray Williams style video on him.
and I got the cartoons and stuff for it, and then I was like, this isn't even. And let's see, shout out my cousin who's watching you guys, Dick.
Don't.
No. You
Mars.
almost got me! You almost got me! But then I went, Nick, and then I went, ooh.
Don't do those guys. You moderators, you own this community.
Oh yeah, True Detective Magazine. That's a good one too. And
You mods can tune out anybody that's being inappropriate.
and
Gone.
And like when I was a kid, I used to read my mom's Ellery Queen mystery magazines. And then, of course, the Agatha Christie novels and all that kind of stuff.
Racism shall be banned. No
Yeah.
second chances.
Yeah, no racism. And anyhow, Robert Picton,
We
the
just
pig
started
farmer.
Robert Picton.
the butcher of Van. Yeah, also known as Port Quicklum. He can say it better than I can. But also known as the butcher of Vancouver. And
Thank you, Karen.
the case actually dragged on a long time because of the fact that, unfortunately, there are marginalized people that law enforcement doesn't really give it their all to find them when they go missing. They just write them off. And
People that live on the streets, for one.
Edgar Allan Poe is an awesome one too. Anyway, I pranked.
You spelled that wrong for
The bell was tolled, and yeah, I
want to
pranked.
play for Who the Bell Tolls?
No.
Okay.
I pranked
Welcome,
my-
Germany.
my cousin once just because
What is
I had
the subject?
read the,
We're talking about
the Telltale Heart, where
General
the heart
chit-chat,
beating
true
the
crime?
floorboard. When I gave you an idea,
True
and I
crime.
got a wind up alarm clock that makes the ticking sound, and I stuck it under her bed so that she just kept hearing this ticking in her room, and she didn't know where the ticking was coming from, and she's freaking out.
Mother.
And thank you about loving the lavender hair.
A cop tased a guy on the freeway.
What? When?
And
Where?
survived.
When and where?
Nope. Write
Don't
it
know
down.
when and where, but I know the name of the guy. He got
Okay.
tased.
Our third car crew member, our son Jay, just came in and let me know that cops tased a guy on the freeway. The guy
When he was-
survived.
Where?
Was he driving?
He had his
What?
expired tags, so he ran. And then they tased him on the freeway and got ran over.
What city was this?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
What does that say? Does it say Brent?
Brent
Brent.
Thompson.
Okay, the guy's name is Brent Thompson, and apparently he was tased after. Was he pulled over at least? Was he stopped?
Pulled over for having expired tags, and then he decided to flee.
Okay, the guy got tased. And is there video on it or what?
Oh, it was in Colorado.
Oh, was it
last
Colorado?
Year.
Oh, it was last year in Colorado. Oh, speaking of shit that happens in Colorado, I'm gonna have to go look up what happened with this one too,
Colt Boy.
where there was.
A name like Colt Boy. I can see why you won't be talking on this channel again. We're up here on top of the mountain.
yeah,
Yes, we are.
Yeah, there were. Sometimes there are firecrackers, and sometimes there are, and the other night there was one or two that were just that, but apparently it was revelers with pew-pews who thought instead of going woo, they would pew. I much prefer solitary wooers to solitary pewers. But anyway, it was a celebration that got out of hand, and nobody got hurt. And anyway, speaking of things that happened in Colorado, I'm gonna have to go follow up on this one because we went and just stumbled across the scrolling YouTube and found out that in Colorado, a woman got arrested and detained. she was put in the back of the squad car, and they parked the car
What?
on the railroad tracks, and then the cops ran away, leaving her stuck in the back seat. Well, it got hit by a train, but she survived. And then I don't know what happened to her charges or anything like that, or what's going on with that, but
She has to go back
I'd
and
be
face
suing
her
for
charges.
$1 billion.
She was busted for maybe aggressive driving, so they put her in a police car on the railroad tracks, and then a train showed up, and she still has to show up for court for her aggressive driving.
wow.
They should have maybe, well, I don't know what.
I wonder what they're going to do about her trauma and everything from being locked in a freaking car that got hit by a train.
That's like that guy that was in the back seat of the car, and the nuts from the tree began falling.
Oh!
More cough.
Now,
cough.
now I'm laughing. It's making me cough. But yeah, I think I did a short on that one or something, because, that's the cop that's calling, this guy is falling, because the cop goes and he puts a guy in the back of his squad car. This is in Florida, I guess, and then acorns fell from the tree, and they hit the car, and the cop screams, shots fired, and then he's like dives, and he's rolling and doing the whole, duck and roll and all this stuff, and it turned out it was all because of nuts falling.
And they started shooting at the police car with the suspect inside in the back seat.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired, and so he's firing shots
poor
back
guy.
at what he thought, and the person was in custody in the back of the car, and he's shooting at the car, and luckily the person that was arrested, didn't die or anything. I don't know if they actually got hit. I'll have to look into that too. But yeah, it is a nutty story, and so
Nutty story. That's pretty funny.
that's stuff that we need to look up and
It's 2. But yeah, and the cop tased the guy on I-25, and then he got hit by a car at 70. What does he do after that? Tries to arrest him.
Wait a minute. Somebody was he on foot or in a car when he got hit by another car?
He ran on foot and was tased on the interstate, and then got hit by a car going 70, and then the cop tried to arrest him, put him in cuffs.
Oh,
Oh my
Maybe-
goodness.
maybe they should have called for paramedic.
Yeah, maybe they should have been doing something like that. Wow, I would have to check that out.
As soon as someone running on foot crosses the fog line, I don't think you should tase them.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
That's funny.
Does my hubby have my wig on? No, I just had to put on a bandana because he was being all self-conscious about his forehead, because
No, I don't have a wig, dude.
yeah, that's not a wig, that's his hair.
It's my hair,
Um,
man. If you check yesterday's show, you'll see. Well, night before.
Yeah, and
It's
he
all
just
real, man. No clankers, no wigs.
and I
It's all
gave
real
so I
hair.
gave him one of my scars. Told him he should just go ahead and start doing his hair like he did back in the 80s, because he was really cute then, and I still think he's cute now. And if he's concerned about his forehead, because he's like, oh yeah, my forehead's so huge every time I look
I don't
in
even.
to see
I
the
got
shot.
hair, man.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's all
Yeah.
hair back there. See?
Yeah, so I told him to put the bandana on so that he
Am I wearing your wig?
and then
That's funny.
and then he was like, well, now I'm the only one wearing a bandana. You should put one on too, son. So I'm wearing one too.
Somebody said I look like that tiger guy.
Tiger King. I said that earlier.
Oh, the Tiger King. Not bad.
That's funny. And I gotta scroll down. I hate it when the comments stop rolling.
Yeah, his hair is
I am
luscious.
luscious. Oh, you
Yeah,
should see
I love
my-
his I love his hair, and he's always been a long hair ever since I met him. He's a little bit older than me, so I was like fangirling him and chasing after him and everything, and then he finally decided to let me catch him. And I have not let him go since. And that's just how it goes.
Scroll, chat, scroll. That's what I'm doing, scrolling the chat.
And
Come on.
yeah, we've been together for a very long time, and we survived
Thanks,
the '80s
Gladys.
together, and we still like our '80s stuff, '80s music, etc.
Color it purple.
Got our son doing playing '80s music, and you know,
The 80s.
and he appreciates the '80s and stuff.
The decade I didn't get to experience. Instead, I got high-speed internet.
Yeah.
We had low speed internet all through the 80s, dude.
The 80s didn't even have any internet.
Yeah.
You had like
Hey, you want to play us some music?
you
Play
had
us a
rap.
Yeah, he gets to
in
be
the
all,
80s.
you know, he gets to be all shocked all the time about, man, you old timers, because he hears about, you know, what was like when everybody didn't have cell phones and
You
stuff.
could play something for the channel. Sometimes we've been slamming some music at the very beginning of the show, just until people show up.
Like what?
Welcome home.
I just want to hear the same song every single.
Welcome home. We got new people in. Welcome home, dude.
Cemetery gates.
Live.
It's a little bit out of tune.
Okay.
We'll have to tune that later. What were we talking about? You started talking about...
Anyway, that's our son. He's awesome, and he's an adult now, so he gets to choose to be on the show when he wants to and stuff instead of being just dragged along just for. He's been a part of our team the entire time, but when he was a minor, we didn't put his face on camera or anything. Well, no, a couple times we did, and he still won't put his face on there, but he'll play his music for us, and you'll hear his voice and stuff like that. His face has been on there before, but it was a long time ago, and it was when we were talking about Gannon, because our
Keep your
son
face out of it.
is around the same. His face is out of there. Our son is around the same age as Gannon. There's just like a few months difference. He's a little bit older, and so you know, it just makes me sad and happy all at the same time. You know, seeing what my son has grown into and realizing that Gannon didn't get to grow up into this, and
Sorry, Al.
yeah, and you know, I feel so bad for Al, and I'm so I still to this day feel bad about misjudging Al during the time that he was quiet before the trial against Letitia happened, because I didn't know how much he was really doing for Gannon behind the scenes. Like, Al had to pretend to be okay with Letitia, had to pretend not to believe that she had killed his son, and you know, now Al is remarried and has a family, and they seem to be very good for each other, because his wife has also had tragedy in her life, and she was very supportive of him throughout the trial against Letitia, and they attend the same church that he always has here in the Springs, and they seem to be a really tight family, and it's just, you know, so terrible what that man had to go through. And I am so glad that Letitia never got to be free again. And Gannon's sister lives with Al and his wife, and of course she gets visitation with her mother, unless they've changed the arrangements now. But you know, it is a shared situation between Al and and Landon, who is the mother of Gannon,
They're pretty quiet.
and
They
Gannon's
don't,
sister.
they don't reach out.
And they stay out of the
They
public
don't want
eye
any
and
part
everything.
of it.
They're giving the kids a normal life, normal upbringing, and even Letitia's daughter is being relatively quiet now in her life also.
Oh, me too. 6 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, man. It changes a person, don't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
You just met Beth the other day.
I think T manipulated both daughters, Karen Lee. I think Letitia basically has no soul, and she was manipulating everyone around her. And I think it is just devastating for both kids, both Harley and the little one, because they both know that they were there that day, and they both know what Letitia was having them do. Letitia had them leave the house, and she had them go look for Gannon and stuff while she was continuing to clean up the mess and uh, and yes, Michael, a brush with death makes you appreciate life so much, and it just makes everything more clear, and all the little beautiful things are so much more beautiful. And anyway, and so the reason behind this channel becoming a true crime channel, because before, it's always had the name Another Day in the Car, but before it used to be just a thing where we did random stuff in the car and everything, because we were always traveling and we were always in the car, and we have an extended family, and so people could just tune into YouTube and see what was up. But then we moved all that stuff someplace else, and because of Gannon, because we live nearby, our sons are all the same age, we saw the community alert on Facebook. We went out looking for him, and then I followed it on Web Sleuths, the website, and stuff too, and discovered that people were interested in this case and supportive of this case from far and wide, and a lot of them weren't even in Colorado, and just wished to see what it looked like, what the train was like, have a feeling of what was going on, make it more real. And so that's what we went and did, and we put it on the channel, thinking that it would just reach maybe 10 or 20 people that were interested, and then it reached so many people that it was shocking to us. And then while we were still doing the Gannon case, then came Suzanne Morphew going missing, murdered by her husband.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, and that was right at our back door. So we went, our backyard. So we went and we documented that case as well. Boots on the ground on that one too. And then other cases came, and we just started
Thanksgiving
continuing
story.
with more and more. Yeah.
Remember, safe Thanksgiving story.
Which
Casey.
huh?
Casey.
Kelsey? Oh yeah. And then of course Kelsey Barrett. She's also a Colorado woman from right where we hung out and stuff, and so we went and did a whole drive for that. And then also after the fact, after the conviction of Patrick Frazee, we combined some of our drives together and everything, and made a in memory of Kelsey thing, just showing where she lived and where Patrick had traveled with her in a tub, a plastic tote in the bed of his truck. He was seen on camera with that tote in his truck. And anyway, and he went from her home to his home in Florissant. He went a couple different locations, and then he burned her remains. And there was like almost nothing left of her, but there was enough evidence to show what he did. And his other girlfriend, Crystal Kenny, she got a sweetheart deal by turning on him and testifying against him. I think she should have done more time, because I think she had more to do with the death of Kelsey than I think it would have been preventable if she would have told anybody what Patrick was planning to do to Kelsey. And I mean, she knew for a while that Patrick was going to take Kelsey out.
That Walgreens story.
Oh, that happened here too.
And so
I don't remember that girl's name. Remember Walgreens?
Little teenage girl.
Right here in the city.
Yeah, we also went on a scene for you guys for when there was oh wow, according to USA Today, there's over 200 serial truck drivers in America.
We're gonna cover that.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that because that's something else, especially since we travel and we've slept in those truck stops, some of the really janky truck stops and stuff. We have lots of history of being on the road and lots of freaky encounters. And yeah, there are
weird truck stops in this country.
Yeah, there are some crazy stuff.
Oh, especially around Missouri, the middle heartland. Those truck stops are creepy and a half, dude. John Benet Ramsey.
I think the John Benet Ramsey case was bungled at the beginning. I think that they will have.
I'm not there. I'll show on camera.
I think they will have somebody in custody at some point in this, but I think.
I know. Silence. Sometimes we stop and read the comments. I know a lot of viewers.
Michael says the killer is dead, which is also a possibility.
A lot of the viewers don't.
But I don't think that it is Patsy. But there's a lot of janky stuff in that area of Colorado, and I think that there's a lot of stuff that gets covered up in Colorado, and that things are definitely changing now because of the age of the internet and YouTube and stuff. That that now stuff, it's harder for stuff to get put under the rug. That people with ties and stuff like that are, not being able to hide behind people anymore and stuff like that.
Anything further than 20 miles west of I-25 is sketchy.
Yeah.
Did you stop? Have another cough drop.
What was I saying?
John Wayne
Gacy is what you're talking about, aren't you? Well, that's a serial killers. Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Ed Kemper. There are a lot of them, and a lot of them are sick, and a lot of them have the some of the commonalities.
Right? Clown.
Oh yeah, BTK, Dennis Rader. I did a story on him. It was actually a pretty like G-rated version of BTK, but I have that on my channel. Dennis Rader is another one of the ones who would not have been able to get away with stuff in modern times, but in the times that he was out there
He was
perpetrating.
a serial killer.
Yeah, and he was able to hide things because of the times and because um, one of the reasons that he got caught was because of the changing technology. Because BTK, just like a lot of these guys, they get, or maybe they always are, narcissistic, and they want to be known, even if they don't actually want to be caught. I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh, they wanted to be caught." But it's not necessarily that they want to be caught; it's that they want to be recognized.
Oh.
They want to be important. They want to be recognized. And BTK had seen a story saying that law enforcement was assuming, because he went into a dormant period where he hadn't done anything, or he hadn't done anything that he got caught for. And people were saying that they thought that he had died. And so he decided to contact the media and stuff to say that BTK isn't dead. And he did so from the church computer, the church where he was a deacon.
That was a bad choice.
And so with the code that came with this, they were able to figure out what computer it came from, and then they were able to figure out who used the computer with the timestamps, and then they were able to see that it was Dennis Rader.
Busted. Remember, he'd send in tips written on cereal boxes.
Yeah, because he was a serial killer. And
Look at the suggestions that people have put in. They put the Night Stalker in there, and
Night
Jeffrey
Stalker.
Dahmer.
Oh yeah, those guys. The
Those
Night Stalker had
classic
me
guys.
so terrified. I was, and I'm from obviously California, and yeah,
I know a lot about Jeffrey.
Richard Ramirez.
oh, and our son knows a lot about Epstein. He's been studying the Epstein the Epstein case and everything, and telling me what's what with that.
We used to not be able to talk about that word. It would just be an immediate ban.
It's not anymore though. You can
No.
you can say stuff, but you have to be, but you might just disappear.
Well, more cough drops.
Yes, Jeffrey Dahmer, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he's this creepy guy living in this apartment building. He is luring young men in there, several of them underage. He's luring them in there. He's drugging them. He is taking advantage of them, and then he is unaliving them. And then he is cooking them and eating them. And the stench of the meals was really bad. And then he would just try to say, because people are like, what is that smell? What are you cooking? And he'd be like, oh, I'm cooking ham and collard greens and stuff like that, because he would cook it with collard greens and stuff like that. But he was trying to make it have what he considered an ethnic scent to the cooking, so that people would be like, this is nasty, because he's cooking people, and obviously it's going to be nasty because you're another human being, and if you smell a human being cooking, just our nature, the way the way we're plumbed, alarm bells are to go off. You're going to freak out if you're smelling, people being cooked and eaten.
We do cannibal stories on this channel.
And
in case you're wondering.
And Dirty says that
say on YouTube.
Dahmer's apartment building has been taken down and it has never been built on. That's very good, because that piece of land
This got to
is
be.
is forever.
What would you put on that piece of land?
You couldn't really put
Nothing
anything,
else.
but you could
You could put like a. What could you put there? Honestly.
a memorial to the victims or something. You couldn't actually have somebody try to live there again, just because the whole aura, the horror that
Maybe we could plant
everything
some
will have been
trees.
implanted in the maybe trees or some kind of reflection area or something, some kind of memorial. Yeah. And yeah, it just needs to be. It needs to be made into like a happier setting, like Michael saying a child's park or something. Yeah, trees, some nature and stuff, and just have it be reborn as some sort of memorial that is living. I believe that's what they did to the Hadley home in the Tyler Hadley case.
Do you remember?
Where Tyler Hadley had thrown the killer house party, where he had unalived his parents and then threw a party with his parents' bodies in their room. That house was taken down to nothing, and
It's funny, but it shouldn't go in the comments.
oh, I see why. Ooh.
We'll go ahead and leave that there. Don't.
Prime, we're gonna leave your comment hidden because YouTube or somebody else hid it, but you make a good point about what it must have smelled like.
Family friendly is what YouTube requires for
Yeah.
comments.
But yeah, I agree. That's probably what it smelled
They
like.
don't need to be removed at this point.
And
Prime, welcome to the channel.
but
Not gonna try that first, man.
yeah, I don't know how to.
Can't even see it.
Somebody or other Prime.
Looks like it says Genius.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, we try doing different spellings of things, or finding other words that you can tell kind of what the meaning is without actually saying the words that makes them freak out.
Like saying it like Elmo.
You-
That Elmo story was in
Oh, we can't tell that Elmo story. That's bad.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell the Elmo story.
Oh, I got
Don't-
in trouble for
Don't tell the
that.
Elmo story.
Yeah, poor Elmo.
No,
I can't tell
poor
the Elmo
Elmo.
story. Yeah, I got in trouble with
YouTube
for that
wants
one.
family-friendly content, even though they allow all these true crime channels.
Yeah, they allow
You
true.
can post whatever you want. They won't give you money for it.
Yeah,
And they won't show it.
yeah.
Do you remember the girl? Was it in Japan where they put her in a pot on the stove and she was like a supermodel or?
Oh yeah, Abby Choi.
Yeah, Abby Choi. That's another story of.
That's another story that I had done, and I had done it, and then I had to redo it. I had to redo it a couple times. But Abby Choi, she was
A GQ magazine girl, was it?
oh yeah, she was a GQ magazine. She was in all the fancy magazines. She was from a very wealthy family, so she was a celebrity on her own. She was like Asia's version of Paris Hilton or something.
Asia.
Back when Paris, yeah, because she was popular all over all of
There's
Asia.
A lot of Asian countries.
I know,
There's
but she was
3 billion
popular.
people
We're
that
just
live there.
gonna generalize it.
But
because
but
we're
in
Americans.
general, she was
East
popular
Asian.
everywhere. And oh, hi Kitty.
Come here, kitty, get out of the picture.
He's like, no, I'm not getting out of the
Kitty.
picture.
Oh,
Yes, we live with cats.
kitty.
Cats keep you warm at night,
Hi, kitty.
and they keep the mousies away. Or
Come on, get
chipmunks,
outta
you
here.
know. So no reason to go after chipmunks with a 22 running around. Barry.
If you're gonna take out the chipmunks, I gotta eat them.
Yeah.
They're too small for that.
You can.
I'd say.
You can eat them.
Where
Yeah.
were we telling that
Just like
story?
you can eat sardines and stuff, you can eat a chipmunk.
Oh. The other story we know about cannibals happened in the heartland of the United States, over in Missouri,
They call it mountains.
in the Ozark Mountains.
Hills.
Those are kills.
Well, this poor girl. You tell the story. You're a better teller of stories tonight.
They ate her. They didn't, but they wanted other people to.
Anyways, they cooked her up. They put her in
They
butcher
packaged her
paper.
and dated it and everything as if it was, like pork or whatever, because they used to raise pigs and sell the meat to local markets and stuff, and so they packaged her up.
Sold her on the dark web.
Product placement.
No product placement.
Bubbly.
We're not getting paid for that.
And,
Free advertising.
yeah.
They caught those Missouri people.
Yeah.
How?
They caught them. How they caught them was an internet hero who likes to go on the dark web and track people down. Because that's where they were selling the product.
The
Yeah.
human meat product.
Yes.
Yes.
The Missouri people, like police said that they traced the IP from Europe, but VPNs exist, so they probably aren't in Europe. Or maybe they are, but not in that part of Europe.
In Germany.
Yeah. Because they said the IP address was in Germany, but
I thought they were
obviously.
from France.
Cassidy Rainwater is a true story. She's
Yeah.
a true
And
lady.
unfortunately, her mother also was a true story there in Missouri, who only her foot was ever found. And that was like 20 years before this happened to Cassidy.
You can tell the.
And
We have enough people in here. You can tell the Cassidy Rainwater story from the beginning.
well, I would make the beginning be Tracy Wawasek, who was Cassidy's mother. And Tracy was living down by the river in a trailer with her boyfriend. And one day Tracy was reported missing, and we were on the search for that, and there was no sign of her, and she was not found. And then a year or two later, a farmer tilling his field came across a boot with a foot and bone in it.
Was it
And-
in England?
Yeah, by the name. And so it did end up being identified as Tracy, but there was no way of knowing what cause of death was or anything like that, so they just made it be a death by misadventure. And
They like that one.
yeah, death by misadventure, and the boyfriend ended up dying of a heart attack sometime later, and so case closed. Then 20 years after Tracy, a missing persons report goes out for Cassidy Rainwater, Tracy's daughter. Tracy's daughter was in her early 30s. She was a single mom.
And those people said that they sourced all their meat from Walmart.
Yeah,
Well, they're victims.
victims. Yeah, they actually used the word victims and said that the two guys that were arrested were James Phelps and Timothy Norton. Those two had been friends forever.
And
And-
one was a truck driver.
And one was
we
a
saw that in the
long-haul
comments
truck
earlier.
driver, Timothy Norton. And James Phelps actually was an ordained minister. And
Small towns.
the two of them lived on a property that was adjacent to a property owned by Cassidy Rainwater's grandfather. And so it's not a stretch at all to assume that Cassidy had known them. Also, not a stretch at all to think that it's possible that Tracy also knew them. Tracy being Cassidy's mother, and the property that they were living adjacent to was the property that had been owned by Tracy's father.
And they say that area, that town that they were living in, well, it's not really a town, you know. It has a street, but everybody lives like out in the nowhere surrounding it, the woods. It's heavily wooded, and they
Yeah.
say that that town is haunted. And if it wasn't haunted and it wasn't true that it is now.
Oh.
Yeah, and we've been out there, and
It's spooky.
it is very spooky, and
Windyville.
It just gives you this. There's just this feeling that you
Dread.
get, this feeling of dread, and this.
It's dark.
It's got a very dark feel, very old, very dark feel.
Very
for,
old.
For those,
oh my gosh.
For those of you who understand that, it can
Civil
feel that.
War
Yeah,
era
it's
stuff.
got this very old feel of
Death and despair.
death and despair, but old. Yeah, I mean, it is primal, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
And in that area, there were literally brothers fighting each other in the Civil War because it was like the North and South like met there.
Yep. Right there.
Yeah. And so it's got that whole feel to it. And then in this situation where there's this whole feel to everything, Cassidy had gotten in trouble for driving with. I mean, I guess she was already on probation for some minor charges like drugs or something, and she wasn't on drugs at this particular time, but she got pulled over for something, and her kids weren't in their car seats, so she lost custody, and she was making regular visitations at the DHS office where her aunt would bring the kids, and she would go see the kids, and she never missed a visitation, and she was always accompanied by James Phelps, who the aunt assumed was was James Rainwater or something because Cassidy had referred to him as Uncle James, and so the mom thought this was a Rainwater. She didn't realize. I mean, the aunt thought this must be another Rainwater, and didn't realize that this was Uncle James, as in like an adoptive close family friend uncle. And I should mention too that James and Timothy Norton are the same age that Cassidy's mother would be, that age group. And anyway, Cassidy had found herself without a home. She couldn't live where her kids lived because of the whole custody thing, and so she was trying to get her act together, and James Phelps offered her to live in the loft of the cabin where he and Phelps lived, although Phelps says that he often was just sleeping in his big rig in the yard. Anyway, Cassidy missed a visit with the kids. The aunt knew this was very suspicious and tried to get a hold of Cassidy and couldn't get a hold of her. There was no response on her cell phone or anything. So the aunt put in a well-being check. And so the cops went over, and then James Phelps told them, oh yeah, Cassidy had been living here, but she left. She moved out. She moved back to Denver.
Hide those guys' months.
Yeah, depending on who he's talking about. So anyway, then there we go.
She missed
Yeah,
the visit.
Timothy didn't. James talked, and James said that Cassidy had left in the night, and he gave a date. I believe it was July 26th, but don't quote me on the date, so I'm not going to say the date. I'll just say on a date. On a specific date that Cassidy had left the house, that she had moved out, that she had gotten into a vehicle driven by a guy at the end of the driveway in the middle of the night and left for Denver. And the cops believed that at first and walked off. But then they end up getting the tip from the FBI, who contacted them about the Good Samaritan who had been on the dark web, and that person had sent them photos, explicit photos, of Cassidy's murder and information about human meat on the dark web, and labeled the photos Cassidy. So then the FBI contacted the police department and sent over the photos and everything, and the photos were labeled Cassidy. And once they looked at that, not only did they recognize Cassidy Rainwater from the pictures, but they recognized in the background that this was James Phelps's home. This was his property where this was taking place. And Cassidy was partially clothed and inside a large cage, like a livestock cage or something. And so they went back to the property and confronted James Phelps, who at that time was sitting at the table eating a meat sandwich.
No, what do you think that meat sandwich was?
A lot of people are wondering.
Well, we know what they fed the neighbors.
And he had a barbecue, just days before, or maybe it was a couple weeks before. But after Cassidy got missing, he had held a barbecue where he fed the neighbors, and the neighbors claim that they believe that they were fed human meat, Cassidy meat, but that law enforcement and everything is keeping all of this quiet, and the guys took a plea bargain so that none of this would come out in court. But word of mouth, and and my sources, I believe them. So it sounds like some local people did end up eating parts of Cassidy. And anyway, law enforcement got there, and James had the same pictures on his phone as well. And the photos show him and Norton taking Cassidy's life, hanging her up like a deer in the yard, and eviscerating her, and taking her back into the house, and cutting her up and packaging her.
We have no idea what that said, so gone.
Yeah. And so the guys took a plea bargain. They're both doing life without the possibility of parole. And
not to mention that
everyone's got closure.
Not to mention that law enforcement was in full denial about this whole thing.
Law enforcement was in full denial all along, saying, "Oh, it wasn't in meat," and all this stuff. And yes, if we cannot read it, it will be deleted. Thank you, Dirty. And so, law enforcement didn't want it talked about.
Well, law enforcement was very unhappy.
They were very unhappy when the truth was coming out. The details were coming out.
YouTubers were talking. Law enforcement was not happy, in full denial. And then they said they caught everybody involved. They caught the two guys.
Yeah, they said that's everybody that's involved, except for while the two guys were in custody, the cabin arson happened and burned absolutely everything to the ground.
Nothing remains.
Nothing remains. And that doesn't sound to me like everybody involved was in custody.
They had done that to a lot of people, like at least 20.
And then at the end of the story...
And no, I do not think that she was the only one. And the rumors around are that she was not the only one.
Law enforcement.
And rumors are that, her mother had actually been one of their victims as well. And rumors are that some other missing women, going back a number of years are affiliated with these guys. Remember, Timothy is a truck driver, and he has routes that go all over the place. Some people, well, I think that the person responsible for Echo Lloyd is actually um, the son of the neighbor. Um, some people think that Echo Lloyd was a victim of Timothy Norton because he stopped in that area also.
That was nearby as well.
And then another case that seems to be in the right timeline with these guys and possibly being victims of these guys are the Springfield Three, which is another case that I'll be bringing to you later on.
A lot of people go missing. Yeah, that's true.
And a lot
Yeah.
of things are called misadventure.
Yes.
A lot of death by misadventure that is not looked into again after that. Oh, it's just a
And where
death by
people
misadventure.
really go missing is the Appalachians.
I think the Ozarks have a lot of people go missing as
but
well.
but a lot in the Ozarks for sure. A lot go missing unalived in the
And don't
Ozarks. And
forget
there's a
about
lot
our
of
fighter,
places.
Big Dave. He went missing.
In Branson.
In
Yeah,
Branson,
in Branson,
Missouri.
and that ended up being ruled a death by misadventure. But but you know,
This man was an MMA fighter.
250 pounds.
Just ripped. Someone did, you know.
yeah.
250 pounds is like
So yeah, a lot of people do go missing in the
120
Ozarks.
kilograms. Guys.
And so, yeah, in a lot of cases in the Ozarks, get the special treatment to, for example, Rebecca Rood, she was found not guilty of murdering her daughter, even though her daughter, her 16-year-old daughter, ended up deceased and burned up in a fire pit, a trash fire pit on her property. But she's not guilty.
She's not guilty. Not guilty of anything that got her any jail time.
Yeah, only guilty of what was it?
Burning trash.
Something rather on a no, desecration of a corpse or something like that, or abuse of a corpse. Only thing she was guilty of.
Weird, right?
Yeah,
Wow. We've been on here almost 2 hours.
and yeah, it was a bench trial. So you know, just up to a judge.
We have that
not a
on the
jury.
channel as well.
Yeah, and that just ticked me off, big time.
Another crazy story.
So yeah, we have lots of crazy stories. You know, some of them are ones that we've got.
Any Pacific Northwest stories.
Just the suitcase one.
The suitcase and the Green River Killing.
Oh yeah, we could go do a looky-loo of some of those areas and tell stories about those places too. So
Well,
Yes, we have
we
a goal.
don't really want to go to downtown
No, we're not
Yeah,
going to
no.
go downtown Seattle. No. No.
but yeah, that's another thing we're gonna do on this channel though is that we will, you know, since we're a family of travelers, we will travel to some sites of some seriously interesting stories, and we will you know, like give you a look of the area and stuff while we tell you the story, and you know, just to like bring it home more and make it more real,
The
and,
Green
and,
River
and some
Killer, dude.
and some boots on the ground type stuff. But
No.
you know, some of it's gonna be boots on the ground in hindsight or something. You know, like maybe even years, decades after a crime has been
I know
solved.
there's other channels
But
that
say,
do
hey,
that
this
as
is
well,
this is
so.
the site of where this happened.
We can't do Richard Ramirez because that's in Los Angeles. So,
We ain't going so good.
we're not going to go to LA.
But we'll show you some stuff, tell you some stories, and
have a goal
hopefully have a lot of fun. And we have a goal of trying to get 10,000 subscribers, 10K, by January 1st, and we'll do some sort of party towards the end when we're doing the countdown or whatever. But yeah, we want 10K, just like 10K from Z Nation. Anybody watches the Z Nation? That's another one of the shows we like.
Another zombie show if you guys want.
Yeah, we
We're
like
just
zombie
gonna-
shows.
We're just gonna talk random stuff.
Yeah.
Wow,
we don't
just-
Now we're random.
I just saw a clip of Battlefield 6 gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
It's a clip where there's a sniper, but he doesn't have a scope, so they can't see it.
Ah.
Battlefield 6 has those details.
Battlefield 6
Sweet.
is coming out. If you guys play
Yeah, we're
that.
looking forward to that. So yeah, we also like video games. We like video games. We like metal music. We like all things 80s. We like travel. We like true crime. And that's kind of the little rundown on who we are. And I think we'll wind this thing up because now I'm getting super snotty and I'm not gonna blow my nose on camera.
Thank you, mods, for taking care of all the trolls tonight. I know you guys have been busy.
Our mods are the most awesome troll hunters. Oh yeah, that's one of the things I was going to mention. Ordinarily, I don't really mention stuff that some of the trolls say, but actually there were some comments the other day. They weren't on the live. They were comments on the replay crew, and they just ticked me off
Hi,
because they
Lucas.
were personally attacking my hubby, my partner, my everything. Well, besides my kid, and they were saying
We're just talking, just
they were
general
calling him
chit-chat.
my penis person, and saying that I looked
No, it's not allowed.
desperately desperately thirsty or something like that, and tell me to get him off the show. And I just wanted to say, because I blocked their ability to comment or anything, I just wanted to make sure that person knows that I am not going to remove him from the show. He's an integral part of the show, as he is my partner, he's my husband, he's the father of my son, and calling him my penis person is like so degrading and disgusting. And why would you even my son had to see that too.
Oh
I
my.
mean, see his dad referred to as the penis person.
We talked
excuse me?
about Diddy earlier, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Him getting 4 years. So,
And yeah, it is crazy that Diddy only got 4 years. I hope that some of Diddy's partners also end up doing some time. And, I think Diddy might know some stuff about other things that maybe
get a pardon.
yeah, that's another thing is Diddy maybe writing a letter to the Great Pumpkin, since it is October, and maybe he's going to try to get a pardon by Halloween.
That'd be
Because
interesting,
I think Diddy might know some
He
stuff.
probably knows about Jeffstein.
Yep.
Long Island, New York, I guess, huh? Wow. We don't get up there. We don't get over to Philly either. We know some people from Philly, and we'd like to get over there and make some videos in Philly. If we ever get up in that part of the world, we'll stop by there and make some videos. No doubt about that.
Little Western guy.
Yeah, but right now our focus is the Rockies and
You'll be cell block D.
venturing into the
God.
Pacific Northwest.
Well,
Philly.
let's just say, when we really don't like a victim, we should say, they did not victim. When we really don't like a suspect, we should say, they need to share a cell with Diddy.
Look
Yep.
at all these deleted comments. My goodness.
Wow.
Trolls galore.
So anyway, and thank you, Irish Rose.
Welcome to the channel, Irish Rose. So we're just about ready to get out of here. We've been on almost 2 hours. We usually do maybe 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes.
Yeah,
We're over that tonight.
and
If you want to talk about something, drop it in the comments, or we're gonna cut this short.
Yeah, and these halls are not working.
Yeah, but they work pretty good. You ate the
Sort
whole
of.
bag tonight. You ate the whole bag.
Yeah, you're welcome, Susie. I got. Yeah, we got me.
Thank you for subscribing.
Jack. Yeah, we got Jake.
Well.
We have less than 1,000 subs to go to make it to 10,000.
Yep.
We should do a subathon.
We should do a subathon, no doubt about
And
it.
there's a timer. And the only way to increase the timer to keep the live going is people subscribe.
Let's see how long.
Yeah, but we don't
Yeah.
have the sub count up on this monitor. We'd have to run a secondary monitor as well. We're gonna put together a new studio coming up soon, so we'll be able to have more background. We'll be able to insert videos and photographs. And
Yeah,
we do know how to do that. We've done it before, so
yeah. We're downsized now, so we're having to figure out how to do it
we're
on
in
a
a
smaller
transitional
scale.
phase of this channel right now.
Yep.
I need my studio for my Jeff studio.
Yeah.
New content.
Yeah. And,
We're now co-hosted.
yeah.
Hey,
And he's gonna
She
have
has
his own channel.
insisted that I can join her.
Yes, because I very much like having my guys, my hubby and my son, with me, and especially while I'm doing lives and stuff like that. Because I love talking with them, and it's just like an extension of that. Inviting you guys to spend time with our family and just chat
You
with
want
us.
to end this with a song? A little riff on the
Sure.
guitar? You gonna play the classical or are you gonna not?
Well,
We talked about Dave.
So we're gonna end this on a little musical note and we're all done.
it's Tootie.
Subscribing is free. Liking is free. No
Yes.
doubt. You can sub
Yes,
now
sharing
and
is
change
free.
your mind later. There's no permanent commitment. So,
We talked about Dave.
what are we gonna play? Uncle Tom's Cabin,
That's not
dude. Uncle Tom's Cabin,
I
dude.
don't know that.
You don't know that one?
80s.
Yeah, but we talked about Janie Lane the other night. Some bad things happened to
That's the
him.
definition of the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Ozzy.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. No doubt. Gas, as in Kyle.
Classical gas, that's not. Classical gas is a difficult song that a guy wrote. I forgot the name. Like John Williams, yeah. I don't know that. I know classical stuff though.
Nice. Okay, dear.
Yes.
Life. Music, music. See, thanks everybody for stopping by. See what tomorrow's headlines may bring us. Talk about that on the channel. Like this video, that's free, won't cost you a dime. Maybe we can get young man to get on the camera.
Got a peek of his guitar in his hand.
No clankers on this channel. That's real.
Yep. We're very real.
Delta Blues?
That literally was built.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
Robert Johnson.
Robert? I already did some Robert.
We need more Robert Johnson. That's the guy that.
Victor of it all.
It's got a good supernatural story to go along with that. Thank you for being here, Journey. Thank you, Karen, and any of my other moderators that I don't see up here right now. Thank you, all the other viewers that are here.
Maybe tomorrow he'll bring us some Van Halen and some Leonard Skinner. Oh, so he said Fade to Black.
I'll fade to black, dude. Okay, Randy, thanks for stopping by. The link will be gone when the live is over. You know, YouTube doesn't like links.
But not if it goes to. But not if it goes to If it goes to a YouTube channel, they'll be fine with it because it keeps people on YouTube though.
Nice. Yay.
I think Fade to Black was good to end on.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, some channels do.
We'll have to look at our setting.
Yeah, we had to shut down a lot of things on this channel. We had to take away all of our mods and bring them back one by one. And
Yeah, we'll have to go look at our settings and stuff and figure out how that goes. So, see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for sticking with us. And
Mr. Gooch.
I live in Colorado, Mr. Gooch.
Drop it in the comments because we're gonna get out of here. We've been on 2 hours now.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, Karen, could you put the when it goes to not be live anymore and it's the replay, could you post that link to that
Put it in not link format.
but just put it in there so that people can find it.
But don't link off the channel. Don't link off YouTube.
Yeah, you can link off the channel, just not off of YouTube.
Right.
Put a YouTube link. Yeah, that's what we're trying to say. Alrighty. Good night.
I'm closer.
Yeah.